Greetings and salutations, Focus Up family. Welcome to the August 8th, 2026 installment of the Focus Up Show. We thank you for tuning in with us live every Saturday morning at 9 a.m. on YouTube and various other platforms, catching up with us on replay. And we ask you to click that like, to subscribe, that bell, and share to support and maintain your weekly Focus Up fix. I am Mr. Nice Guy, nice as in the word Saint spelled backwards. And today, my co-hosts are Brother Walk, host of Sex Talk with Walk, Thursday at 9 p.m. and co-star of Street Focus on Sundays at 6 p.m. We got Brother Afro Agnostics. By the way, now we do not see you. Star of those Afro Agnostic videos, social media, and co-star of Objective Deconstructions on Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. No Objective Deconstruction today. We got Soldier X, star of Mutant Politics on Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. No Mutant Politics today, but we do got infamous Pooh, star of Spin That Back on Saturdays at 10:30 a.m. And we are going to have a Spin That Back. And what's Spin That Back? And what are we going to be talking about, infamous Pooh?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We're going to be talking about the greatest debuts for the era from 79 to 99. We're going to talk about some of the greatest album debuts for that era.
That's what's up. And Mr. Floyd X, the boss man, co-star of Street Focus on Sundays at 6 p.m. What is going on with you, sir?
Chilling, man. Ready to get this thing popping. Talk about what we talking about.
All right, then let's get to the get. First up, well, actually, you know what? What is going on with you, Brother Walk? How you doing out there? And where's you at?
I'm in Dubai still. If my boy Agnostic Alliance say he was in Canada, I'm in Dubai. No, I'm messing with you. I'm messing. Punch in the back of the head for no reason. I love it.
So what's going on with you, Brother Apple Agnostics? Can you hear me? You just smiling. No, you just smiling waves. Okay. Soldier X, what's going on with you, sir?
Brother, just another day, man.
What's up, Mr. Floyd X?
What up?
Is the temperature a little bit more civilized?
No, it's still up in the hundreds out here. I think it'll be like 90-something, so maybe 98. But, you know, we had a heat wave this past week, and the heat just sticking around.
What's going on with you, Brother JC? I guess we both doing the same thing. Top of the AM to you, sir.
Word.
What's going on with you, Mr. Infamous Pooh?
Blessed and happy to be here once again, and LL Pooh is hot as hell.
That's what's up. Oh man, I hope I don't cook too hard in the shed. So let's get to the get. First thing up, the Montgomery Brawl anniversary, the Fade in the Water. It's been a 3-year anniversary to an event that I have no shame in saying that it absolutely made me feel proud. There were some things that happened that were probably excessive, some things that maybe weren't righteous, but it was all good. And, you know, it was great to see those people rally and support those people that need to be supported. So, you know, I take no shame whatsoever saluting a great day of Black excellence. So
we'll talk. We learned so much from that day. We know that the universal code when you want to call Black people, throw the hat up in it. So if you need help from your fellow Black folks, throw that hat up in the air. Motherfuckers gonna come swimming for you. People gonna be coming down the ramp for you. They're coming out of everywhere for you. Salute to that brother. Salute to all them people that held it down and let those people know that we stand together. We're not all disunited. Some of us are united and ready to fight for another. Salute.
That's right. You got a picture for us, right? Because you know, we do believe in peace. We do believe in peace, but every now and then, you know what I'm saying?
they had to revise the Martin Luther King monument and update it and upgrade. He got an upgrade. I think I don't know if it was Biden or Trump who paid for that upgrade, but one of them did that upgrade.
What you got to say about that, Soldier X? I want to hear what you got to say about the Montgomery Brawl.
Yeah, man. To me, I always thought it was pretty overhyped at the end of the day. But it's always good to see, people have each other's back, so of course, that's why it resonated, so strongly in our community, and when you look at it, at a deeper level, it's really that people that was get satisfaction from watching an apparent aggressor encounter immediate consequences. You know what I mean? That always make you feel kind of good. That's why it's like even a lot of Americans right now in this country, they're torn because you don't want to see any type of death, any type of loss of life. Yet people see America as the aggressor in this Iran, situation in particular. At least to the tune of 65+% of Americans see that, and a percentage of them is just like it's hard to support their own government for their aggression. You know what I mean? And so you kind of like lightweight leaning for some to be like, man, they want to see Iran win. And come victorious out of the situation. So it reminds me of something real similar to that right there.
Brother Walk, you got something to say about this?
This was just like a situation where, it reminded me of that Martin joke where he say like, when white folks see one brother, they get like, can I get some toothpaste? And then like, you don't got no toothpaste. But when it's like, can we get some toothpaste? They're like, oh, sure, right over here, buddy. This was one of those situations where they thought they was going to take advantage of an elderly brother. But they didn't know he had a whole back and a whole ship behind it and people coming from the pier. And we can't forget about Aqua nigga. Aqua nigga. Come on now. They think niggas can't swim. He showed it. He got out there and he put in some work. So it was just one of those type of moments where justice was served immediately.
Apple Agnostics, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can't see you, but go ahead. What you got? What do you think about this?
What? Man, I had my head. I was about to throw it up and do the smurder because that's like the real smurder dance. I feel, But more power to the people. It's a great example of Black people sticking together, working together. It has a lot of symbolism of unity and victory. This we love this for the same reason we hate those slave movies because they never show us winning. They never show us using intelligence and using violence just like they do to have some type of heroic success. So, I mean, shout out to that. I really, Black people have made this a holiday. I hope it continues. It's like our miniature version of the 4th of July, and
And one more thing also wanted to add, we all gotta do like that Medea movie or the one that pull that shit out of our pants.
I don't know if I'm still here.
Infamous Pooh. What you got to say about this?
I wish DMX was still alive right now because he would be saying, y'all gonna make me lose my mind. Where's the chair? Where's the chair?
All right. So, and then next up, we got this. This in and out shooting. This is another example of people rallying to help to relief from a terrible situation. Salute to that dude. You know what I'm saying? That civilian that went and got. This dude's got a rifle and stuff like that. He went and got his pistol and he put in some work and he saved some lives. So him and an off-duty cop. But there's definitely some discussion here about civilians having the arms to be able to deal with these type of situations when this stuff plays out. So what you got to say about this? You know what, Mr. Floyd X, I want to hear what you got to say first.
All right, so check it out, man. The victims, 3 victims who succumbed to the injuries. The one lady, she was from Stockton, California. She was out there training the new employees because she was such a model employee here in Stockton or city of Stockton. They sent her out there to train the employees and who's that? All that noise on their mic.
I know. I'm trying to look. It's not Afro. I muted him, and it's not Walk either.
So
I was already muted, Floyd.
All right. So she got shot, and then one of the guys was a retired. I forget, he was just visiting, and then the other one was there on a family reunion. He was out there for a family reunion, so they all was unfortunate in an unfortunate situation. I tried to upload the video to show the hero because he was a hero. This guy right here, this Jordan Salinas. He's 35 years old, and he's the one. He pulled out his gun and he did an interview. He said when they the shooter was all content and comfortable shooting, killing all these innocent people, but when he started hearing them fire, them shots coming back, he got all nervous and started looking around, and then he shot. And so he had pretty much a shootout with the guy, and that drew attention. So he saved some lives. I'm sure he saved some lives. And there was other heroes, the state trooper. He stepped in and shot, and he guided the people out of the kitchen. And then it was a worker at the visitor center as he made his way towards the what do you call that? The charging station for the electric cars. That's where he got one of the victims. But salute to all those heroes. We don't like to call the name of the killer. He's dead. He killed himself. So no respect for that loser.
That's what's up. Walk. You got something to say about this, brother? You are muted.
Cause y'all keep fucking mute me and unmute me. Not saying you nice. I think it's Floyd. But how many? I got my popper. How many black folks died? Or how many black victims was it in there?
None.
And was the shooter, was he black?
Nope. He was
I don't have to count.
So I'm gonna extrapolate the meaning from that. You got something? How you doing, brother? Afro agnostic. I see you sitting there fighting with your situation, but you probably don't need to mess around too much. We see you. Can you speak?
Okay. Yeah, that's one too.
Don't mess with nothing else. You're good, brother. So what's your take on the situation?
I mean, shout out to the officer, the off-duty officer. He was heroic, but that doesn't really change, the prevalence of police misconduct. And it really kind of demonstrates that the police don't stop crime. They merely respond to crime. And, if they're really concerned about this type of crime, they would do more things than just punitive measures like juvenile reform. They will push for comprehensive gun reform. Comprehensive gun reform has proven to reduce firearm deaths.
I know Soldier X has got something to say about that.
How is it proven? How is it proven to stop deaths like that? I don't
Speak on it, brother Afro. He asked you.
Well, we have some real live examples from, like, say, Australia. After 1996, they passed comprehensive gun reform, and gun homicides or death by homicide and suicide was drastically reduced. So, I mean, it does work. I mean, it works
but it
in
ain't
every
gonna work not in this country, because every country is different.
Bro. It has worked in the state of Connecticut. It worked in the state of Connecticut. I'm not saying get rid of it. I'm saying reduce it. Reduce it dramatically.
I don't think that has anything to do with gun violence. It's just like how Chris Rock say. It's just some folks that just plain old crazy, bro. That's just what it is. You know what I'm saying?
I was reducing access to guns, restricting access to guns, having gun manufacturers produce less guns. How is that not going to reduce gun violence? Make it make sense.
I know someone who knows someone. I'm not gonna say me. Who knows someone who knows a lot of people who been having guns since they was kids and never fucking registered to get a gun.
I understand that those old guns will stay in circulation, but I'm saying, and you can do things like buy them out. Different cities, they offer to buy them out. People go in and they do trade. It does make a difference, but I'm saying new guns in the circulation, you can limit that.
You don't know. I think you don't know if it's gonna make a difference until somebody die or don't die. Like you can't. I don't think you could quantify it by that. Like
it's been quantified.
Like if I turn in a gun, that don't mean that people's lives was saved or maybe somebody's life got taken. I don't see the correlation. People come with just all these statistics and things and just made up numbers, but I don't really think this is really a way to track it, brother.
If you take a gun off a street, that gun will not be used to do something. But let's hear from Student X on this. What's going on with you said?
Yeah, I mean, you guys gave me a lot to talk about, but I'm gonna go quick. First of all, what Brother Afro is, in regards to the police not stopping violence and just responding to violence. I mean, that's like a, duh. I mean, they don't. That's what they do. They're first responders. They're in that category, but their presence, however, does reduce the likelihood of violence and crime. Of course, but and then in regards to the gun control debate, I'll just simply say it's never the answer to remove or make it harder for responsible citizens to have access to firearms. Now, removing firearms from illegal people who have ghost guns and weapons that aren't registered and who should not have them, violent offenders, things of that nature, by all means, you know what I mean? But, let's keep it, make sure we have context in regards to that. Jump into my boy, Jordan Salinas, salute, to, a gentleman who's not a military, not police. This is a gentleman that, has some firearms and then sought training, so he could, be responsible, with his weapons, and I was highly impressed by, I was shocked they actually let him do a full network, on, a TV interview, because when he came out, he's just clearly he had referenced the OLA loop, observe, orient, decide, act, in terms of the situation. The gun he was carrying was an FM 5.7 times 28 millimeter with a fitted suppressor, and not allowed here inside California unless you have, a law enforcement, background, but there is no doubt that, his presence, in that moment, was absolutely important, but I wanted to just highlight, again, just the firearm training, because, it's irresponsible for us if we get these weapons and we don't train with them, especially, putting yourself under stress, because, he had a very important elements like situational awareness. There's a threat recognition. He had decision-making in that moment, clearly proficiency with his firearm, judging by his stance and how he was moving. And I'm sharing a screen right now. If you could share it, a little do you know, he already had a YouTube channel, it was already representing, and now this blew him up. He already 200,000 subscribers at the list and growing, but this dude, is a great example of a responsible, citizen who wanted to make sure he can make a difference inside his community when the time came.
If I can just mention really quick, I can't remember what I was going to say about Walt, but real quick on what Stu next said, training doesn't make you more responsible. That's, some of the best, most prolific mass shootings or shooters have been trained, with the weaponry. So I want to dispel that really quick.
Well, it absolutely makes you more responsible, because if you're untrained, and then you have these weapons,
more capable.
You're gonna shoot yourself, or harm others and whatnot. Is
or a family member, your wife.
So
Is it?
so being proficient
Being
with
responsible is taught into the training. It's part of, they teach you how to be responsible with a gun during training sessions. I've been in gun training sessions, and one of the main parts is the responsible use of it.
No doubt about
it. Does make you more responsible.
I've been in those trainings too, and I'm not saying that they teach you how to responsibly use, or they teach you how to use a gun and they tell you to be responsible. All I'm saying is that mass shooters, a large significant number of them, and people who are involved in shootings are trained in how to use guns.
Nah, bro. I mean, come on, bro. I don't know that that's the truth. You know what I mean? Because even there's another dummy recently that was out there, and he just had a rifle, and he was not showing any proficiency in handling that firearm at all. Nowhere near at all. And, dare I say, a lot of these people, because a lot of these people are unhinged. We say all the mass shooters and all this that's a small percentage of the collective people, and let's not forget that at the end of the day, they're crazy. You know what I'm saying? Compare crazy people to sane people at the end of the day, but
they got negative intentions, bad intentions.
All you have to be is an angry man.
This is the comment right here. This pretty much sums it up. Gun training will make you a better shooter. It might make you more responsible as far as as far as not sweeping somebody with the barrel of the gun, but it doesn't stop a shooter from shooting up the club. At the end of the day, that training is not going to make those people not do the crazy things they do. But
who's arguing that? No, I'm not arguing that. That crazy people gonna do crazy shit. I
think that was the main point that Apple was talking about.
Well, bro, like I said, that's like talking about the police, responding. That's what they do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but
some call them. Or they hear something going on, they see something, they respond. I mean, they don't just miraculously, be able to
I'm trying to, go ahead, Mr.
Let me wrap this up real quick, man. Bottom line, we're talking about a hamburger stand. You know what I'm saying? Be careful at these hamburger stands. In fact, go through the drive-through because you got some dangerous hamburger places out here like Monster Burger and Master Burger out here in LA at least. Now all of a sudden it's in and out. So go through the drive-through because if you go in, you may not come back out. So that's all I got to say.
I had a quick question for everybody. If you are an armed civilian and encounter an active shooter, should you intervene or should you protect yourself and your family, escape, and let law enforcement handle it?
Me, I'm gonna put down the shooter if I have an opportunity. I'll find out about the circumstances, whatever. I'm honestly, and nine times out of 10, I'm gonna have a gun on me wherever I am, and I'm in my mindset. I'm not gonna sit there and just today might be the day.
If somebody's shooting at me, I want all the shooters to come out of the woodworks. If you got a gun, shoot.
Throw your hat in the air.
I'm gonna throw the hat up. If you got a gun on you right now, shoot this mug. Shit.
That's what's up. So anybody else want to respond to it? What would you do, Alpha Agnostics? If you saw this, what would you do?
It depends on the situation, man. Everything is circumstantial.
I hear you, Mr. Walk. What would you do?
I'm out of there, bro. I mean, if I got a pistol, if I got something, I'm a hell but it. I mean, come on, bro. If we ain't Superman. Like, I mean, like a lot of times you could think what you'll do and stuff, and like it's like a fight. Sometimes people talk all this shit and then get punched in the face, and then sit there and get punched in the face a few more times. So, I gotta agree with brother Agnostic on it.
Infamous El Pooh. It's no judgment. We're just asking what you think you would do. Infamous El Pooh.
I don't know unless I'm in the situation, but more than likely, if I got my food, I'm leaving. So that's about it.
So that having been said, what's up next?
Get to Gucci Man. Gucci Mane's revenge. We got to change that to released. He released the album All Eyes on Shiesty. That's the album title. I listened to the whole album yesterday. It's a good album. Good job on Gucci Man, I guess, on the music selection. I'm assuming he the one behind it. I don't know how much control Pooh Shiesty had over the release of the album, but we know that Gucci Man about to get paid.
None. He had none.
He didn't have no control over it?
No control.
Speak on it, Walk. What you got to say about it?
No, obviously, hey, man, I didn't hear the album, but I'm saluting Gucci Mane on this, bro. I've said it before. That was what Pooh Shiesty did. That was not a gangster situation. That was like not no thug shit. You called me with your dad. Your dad was there. I could see if he put up on him like, look, nigga, you gonna sign this and do all this and that. Or Suge Knight the affair. He didn't even Suge Knight him. This was some whole ass shit that Pooh Shiesty did. And you could tell by the demeanor of Gucci Mane, he was looking like, I want to slap your stupid ass. Like, come on, think about it. If it was just Pooh Shiesty here, Gucci Man beat the dog shit out of goddamn Pooh Shiesty. But now he is getting his revenge, and he's going to make a couple million dollars too off of this idiot.
I don't know, man. He seems like
motherfucking Gucci man.
It sounds like Pooh Shiesty is promoting this as well, so I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But you got something.
You gotta say. What did you say? He was missing. Pooh Shiesty. Him being in jail, or I forgot.
Oh yeah. He took that chance, and he had all the luxuries and the benefit of life. He was on $1 million worth of game, showing off all his rose gold colored vehicles. He had access to money. He probably was in a bad deal. God damn.
Man, that sounds awful.
That shit is horrible. He was in a bad. Me? No, that's a.
I think
Apple. It went out, but it ain't me.
That's Walk. I think that's Walk. Yeah.
All right. So look, he had access to all these. Well, he got all his vehicles is rose gold colored. So he had access to money. I'm trying to understand why he would pull a stupid stunt like this. But I guess his name is Pooh Shiesty. He's a shiesty individual, and he let it be known by his name. He let it know who he is. But this was like if Jeff Bezos ran up on Elon Musk and demanded $100 million, this is how stupid that shit was. They'd be like, God damn, nigga, you're already a billionaire. What the fuck?
Infamous El Pooh.
Hey, it was a gangster move on the man's side, Gucci man's side. That's all I got to say. And once again, I gotta say, Pooh Shiesty, you making all the Poohs look bad out there. So,
Student X, you got something to say about this?
I don't know anything about this one, brothers.
Don't worry about it. Alpha Ignacio, did you speak on this?
No, I didn't. Genocide and Juice, man. I long took a hiatus from those type of raps. I think that acting he did, what he did is really a reflection of his intelligence, and I could never listen to an entirety of his album. It's a trip how we condemn pussy rap or we get into this and homosexual, but this is what's killing us. This fratricide, this gangster, this, promoting it. Look at where he is and what he did. It's all reflected in his music. I don't fuck with that shit.
All right, so next up, we got the police flock cam scandal. So if you don't know what the flock cams are, this is basically a cam system where they automatically take pictures of every license plate that goes by it, and then they sort of like track it. So it basically can, if you were to stick a license plate into the system, it would not only show you, it would basically show you all the places where it lit up. So, it'd be a way to attract something, to find something. And a lot of these cops have been using it for personal uses. So, some of these people have been accosting, like, tracking down former girlfriends. One cop was searching down his wife, his ex, and stuff like that. So, and they're getting like fired and getting trouble behind it. So it's an abuse of power. This reminds me of the technology that Bruce Wayne was using in the Dark Knight with the phones and stuff like that. It's dangerous, but they say that it's been very helpful with catching people. So, it's a balance. We got to figure out a good way to handle it. You got something to say about this, Brother Walk? Okay, he done went dark on him, so that means no. You got something to say about this Afro Agnostics?
Yeah, man. A lot of talk about Big Brother, Doomsday, man. It really reveals that we're living in a police state right now. They got 100,000 flat cameras worldwide. So I support the ACLU and other groups fighting against this type of, mass surveillance. And I think it's an invasion of our privacy. And especially, I think it should be to people who say they don't trust the government, but we got these flight cameras everywhere. Secondly, this is just another police misconduct, just one another small example and why we should defund the police. Again, they don't support as a group comprehensive gun reform, but they do, support punitive measures and things like that. I'm saying as a group, they don't support the things that really resolve crime. They simply respond to it. That's cool. That's what they do, first responders. But what can you do as a group to reduce crime? They're not behind any measures to really actually reduce crime. I think in LA alone, $50 million last year, Detroit, $50 million for police misconduct from taxpayers' money. So, when you think about the juvenile justice system in California, $500,000 per juvenile detainee. How much for the schools on average? $25,000 per student. So, we see where the priorities are, but yeah, they should be exposed. I mean, this is not a few bad apples. It's taking place in 12 cities, and that's just the police forces that have been caught.
That's what's up. I'm gonna let you simmer a little bit, Student X. Go ahead, Brother Walk.
A lot of times at your job, if you can, you utilize resources for personal gain. That's what they kind of did. I know one time I utilized a friend of mine who worked at the DMV to track this one cat who was an op.
Allegedly.
I had an issue with this cat, and she looked him up, gave me an address, and I just tucked it in my pocket. Just
5 years. She should get 5 years.
I'm self-snitching. Don't interrupt.
What is this, no jumper?
But I just did that just to keep tabs on where he at in case I gotta come, looking for it. But this is what the police was doing, and for what they was utilizing it for, I'm like, I would like to track an X. Like, yo, where that hot thing at? I don't know.
Infamous El Pooh.
I'm in the middle.
Infamous El Pooh. What you got to say about this?
Let me put you all up on a little bit of game here. About a week or two before this scandal broke out, Los Angeles or the city of Los Angeles said they were going to stop using the flock cameras and everything, probably because of situations like this. So it is what it is. I mean, they could see it was going on or could have the potential of going on, so they stopped it. So I give them props for that. That's all I got to say about it.
Mr. Floyd X, I'm coming to you last, Soldier X.
Yeah, I'm glad they got caught. This is an absolute crime. You don't utilize your position to do non-job descriptive duties and be chasing people down or stalking people, getting information when you shouldn't be getting it. That's some foul shit. I hope they all get arrested. Like Afro say, 5+ years or more for that shit.
Student X, got the floor to close it out before we go to commercials.
Yeah. This is an example. I gotta highlight, Afro's, comments. That, but I feel like it was the sentiment of everyone for the most part. Is that the blame the police, right? Is like, remember how when everyone was on the rappers and blaming them for just the values falling on the people and the filth and degeneracy that they were promoting, and then the more enlightened ones start to realize, wait a minute, it's not the rappers. There is an executive branch that it won't even give you access, to these airways and the resources and the tools unless you rapping about that, and then you start to see the real culprit. The police is just, every day, at the end of the day, people now, granted, they are, a unit, so you do have different elements that form inside that, and that does need to be policed, if you will. I think that's an easy fix, but, this is way bigger than the police. This is a private company. Flock is a private technology company. It's not a government agency. And so, but they have these various government contracts. Now, anyone that is, so-called anti-government and not with a lot of this foolishness that we see, they're not with flock cameras, clearly. You see what I'm saying? No. So this is something that, we people like me, I know I've been saying it, is that, there's something greater that's coming, to where we kind of saw it during COVID. Is that, when they want to lock your ass down, they're going to have the technology, to be able to recognize and penalize you, i.e. demolition man. That's it.
Hey, that's a good way to do it, Afro. You caught me. That was slick. So let's go to commercial. Let's take a commercial break.
All right, take that off stage for me.
Oh, sure.
La Brea Trucking for all of your trucking needs. East Coast to West Coast, West Coast to East Coast, North to South, South to West. Y'all saw the phone number at the end. I made the comment just a little bit short. I did that manually. But check them out. If you need something delivered or moved, call the La Brea Trucking. He'll get it moved for you. Salute to that brother, too.
That's gobealive.org. Go get you some of that black honey. And if you want it in person, go to the Petty Vice at Venice or to the Afro City Marketplace at the Crenshaw Mall. Salute, Sister Nitra.
Turn up the dial, it's 10:30. Be back. Spin that back show, all the classics on track. From 79 to 99, we're crossing the gap. Album reviews, little known facts, hip hop intact. Saturday mornings, dive into the history. Samples and stories, old school mysteries. Early self-static, Shiraz of TDD. Roll up at a beam. Turn it up.
Oh, yeah, that's the Spin That Back show. It's going to be on today at 10:30. We're going to talk about the greatest debut albums from the years of 79 to 99, our era. So tune in and check us out. We will be doing that today. Yes, sir.
All right, one more commercial. What's the bean pie? The bean pie that gets you high.
Peace and blessings. For those of you who haven't come to 2251 Florin Road, Suite 111, and got your issue of the fiberless fava bean pie, you are missing out. These have just come out the oven and they're on their way to the shop right now. So come on through and get your issue of the world's greatest pie. The pie that literally makes you high. Peace and blessings.
That's right. And he's saying, and he's not saying the fatherless. These pies have fathers. He's saying fatherless.
Fatherless. What that means. But salute to that brother Camille Shabazz out there at the African market today, or I think they call it a new name, the African Square. But
I gotta go check.
Hey, tell him to do another commercial. Eat a bean pie first and then do it, because he was sounding like that.
All right. So the first and third Saturday of the month is the African market. You go out there, they got watermelons that they get from a black farm. So they got seeded watermelon. They don't do the seedless. They do the seeded watermelons. They got the yellow water, the yellow meat, and the red meat. So if y'all want to go get some watermelons, make it out to the African market. That's it.
All right, let's talk about this Roland Martin scandal. So again, I'm not trying to judge what a grown person does on their freaky time. That's their personal business. But there's something to be said about letting this stuff get out to the public. It's definitely, especially when you're so concerned about it that you're threatening every single person that puts it out there with suing. So I mean, it's obviously something that you don't want out there. But apparently he had some side chick that he was doing some activity with, and I don't know who filmed it, but it got out there, and she's doing some things, and I want to rehash it. But it's just you're a big public person. You got your person that you're involved with. Again, if you have something worked out with them and they're okay with this, then this is all grown folks' business. But when stuff comes out like this, it can be kind of embarrassing for that person if that's just a private contract between you and that person. At the end of the day, grown folks is gonna do grown folk business. That's really kind of what I got to say about what you got to say about. I'm Afro agnostics. I'm gonna let you. Oh, go no, Mr. Footek. You're pointing your finger. You go ahead and speak on it first.
Let me speak on it real quick. I was trying to avoid this story, but I've seen Tasha K and Poetic Flacco. They did a show together speaking on it, and the implications is that his current wife, I believe, is a minister or a pastor or something of sorts, and so that's what adds to the salaciousness of it. I try to avoid people's sex life. No, don't bother me. I don't care about the sex life, and particularly unless you are harming children or committing crimes or things of that nature. But what's going on? Roland
leopard. Yeah, he had a leopard thong on in the video.
Okay, so apparently it looks like you're saying that they saw the video, but they can't show the video for fear against. So the video exists, and that's a shameful act. If you are somebody who's represents an upstanding citizen in a sense that you have a platform and you encourage people to vote and you do all this community stuff, you can't be out here committing salacious acts and being disrespectful to your spouse.
He's sex shaming her, Afro agnostics. What you got to say? He's sex shaming him. What you got to say about that?
And I like to just really unpack that shameful act. Like, what does that mean? But I think Roland Martin is clearly he's the victim here. We should have victim for him, especially if we go support or think of ourselves as advocating for men, supporting Black men in specific. I mean, we went on the ledge to support Cosby, Tory Lanez, Elijah Muhammad, but I think he was clearly wronged. I think the lack of support from some folks is because he broke the cardinal patriarchal rule because he had fingers up his butt. That's just shame.
And a leopard thong.
Yeah, a leopard thong. I don't know the arrangement between him and his wife. It doesn't matter to me that she's a pastor, but I don't know what arrangement. That's for them to work out. And conservatives need to stay out of people's bedrooms. And I think more than that, the the woman who filmed this allegedly, she's the she's the who tried to extort him. She's the abuser here. We don't even know her name. She's the scandal. She should be ridiculed, not Roland Martin.
Student next. I'm gonna let you go, brother.
Yeah, I'm like Floyd. Is that I saw something about Roland Martin. Then I saw it was like something with some sex, and I was like, man, I don't want to know nothing about Roland Martin, no sex. You know what I mean? So I just kept pushing. So I'm learning everything. I'm learning about it right now. You know what I'm saying?
This is Roland Martin, the guy who supported Kamala Harris, which Kamala got a lot of support from a lot of homosexuals. Like this really is not a story. This is like, duh. You know what I'm saying? He always seemed a little feminine, but I don't really think this should go against nothing that he got going on. He like getting pegged in the butt. That's his personal thing. He's not a community leader. He's not running for office. He's not influencing me or my children. So I don't see nothing wrong with what he's doing. If he liked the boys, he liked the boys. So I don't see what the story is.
This is exactly why we need to have this discussion on black men washing your ass, because just because he likes to be pegged or fingered.
This is pegged is different. This is not pegged.
Yeah.
Okay, this is fingered, and it's a female that's doing it.
I said or fingered, either or. Any
that's not a thing. Don't be putting out there that black men don't be washing their ass, bro. You know what I mean? Because that is not a thing. I can say that right now. You see what I'm saying? That is not a thing. You know what I mean? Brothers that know what they're doing.
Next.
We gonna get to that.
Come back to that.
Oh, is that right? Oh, okay. So that was a joke.
We still infamous El Pooh. Infamous El Pooh needs to get a chance to speak before we doing all these back and forth. We got to fight for infamous El Pooh.
My bad, brother. My bad, infamous Pooh.
I ain't really got much to say about this. I just think he's being extorted, and whatever he's doing in his personal life, I really don't care about. But it's just a sad situation. But he got to deal with that. Hey, you did it. Hey, you made your bed, lie in it, brother.
Yeah,
he is a victim. They vote blue no matter who.
He's a victim in this. And speaking of victims, this next one, the Sidney Starr, it's clearly the victim is the minor that was basically, first of all, you were basically tricked because this minor thought that Sidney Starr was a female. And then on top of that, Sidney Starr basically is being accused of sodomy. Now, I will say that we think what we think about sodomy, but if you look at the definition of sodomy, oral sex actually comes into that definition. And Sidney Starr did admit that Sidney Starr performed oral sex on the minor. So this is going to be some type of situation. This is like whatever. But at the end of the day, I know me and Afro were having a very spirited discussion that I was saying I think it's a crime to not disclose, what you are. You know what I'm saying? It's put it this way. It's a danger because some people will respond to it violently, and that doesn't necessarily make it right. But, you can definitely deliver yourself from that type of exposure, keeping it 100 from the giddy up. You ain't got to necessarily say that you're trans, but I was just saying, if you just basically say I'm of the community, that puts a person on notice to know whether they okay with this. And then, adults can consent about this. This is not an adult situation. This is an adult and a minor. So it's really messy. Walk, you got something to say about this?
I mean, she was the one that I think outed Chingy allegedly.
Yeah.
Saying
She lied. She lied on him.
Nah, fuck all that nigga. I ain't got to talk no shit. Quit playing. Chingy, you ain't getting out of this, bro. No, but listen, she's a person. She did something with a minor. And I think she needs to be punished for that. That's what her running around pretending to be a woman and all that. I don't feel like you can't look at that ugly mother effer and know that that's a nigga. Come on now. So, but messing with a minor, sodomizing that minor. I know what you said was by definition, nice guy. To me, sodomy means
Yeah, that's a whole nother crime. That's a whole nother level.
I think it's the same thing. I don't want to hear that sodomy ain't it's oral sex now all of a sudden. My whole life, my former thing as a stupid ass nigga, she got fucked up.
Hey man, that picture, didn't that mug look a little bit like Tyronn Lue? But still, anyway.
Yeah,
Tyronn Lue, it looked more like this man right here.
Big Meech. If Tyronn Lue and Big Meech had a baby.
Hey, wait, I got one more thing to show.
What's that? What was that? I missed it.
Anyways, Student Next, I want you to have the final word after agnostic, so I'm gonna come to you last. Student Next, you got something to say about this?
I mean, man, I think this happens a lot more than than what we have statistics for, and it's just unfortunate that we have children that just are brought into just terrible situations, from babies all the way on, to these, teenagers and whatnot. It's just a shame, but I think, in the name of protect children, man, you got to go hard, on people, in these situations.
I'm sorry I wasn't quick enough. Mr. Floyd X, did you respond on this?
Nah, I mean, I know. To me, I agree with you that transgenders should disclose their birth sexuality to whoever they are interested in dating in, unless it's obviously clear and you're in an environment to where they commingle and all that stuff. But I don't know if the young man didn't know or knew or if it was or not. But, underage is underage. You can't, against these laws, you can't have sex with underage people. So she did the crime. She got to do the time.
Apple agnostics.
I'm just for the record, I'm all for full transparency. Everything. Your real, bra size. Your real. I'm sure women will argue dick size. That's the thing that they run into a lot. But other than that, I don't think I need to add any more. She's a piece of shit. She's a vile human being. She needs to go to jail.
All right, that's what's up. Damon, I am a boy. But anyways, so what do we have up next?
Abdul El Sayed, primary victor.
All right, the progressives are putting in work. I don't know how this is necessarily going to help in the general elections, but definitely there's been a trend, with the embracing of the further left in the Democratic primary. So
that's not the trend.
You don't think that's been a trend that there hasn't been?
No, that's not the trend.
Speak on it.
The trend is anti-Zionist.
Woo!
That's going to be the litmus test throughout this whole election. Whether you're on the left, you're on the right, that's the trend. And so, despite millions of dollars, this dude came out on top. Because even Thomas Massey. With that big campaign that the Zionists ran against him, he got knocked out. But to say that this Arab, gonna be first, Muslim, in the Senate, that's a significant move right there. So and right now, you have about 35% of the country, that is, that old style, the ones that we go back to lynching and we go back to. Enslavement, they don't got a problem with it. You got about at least a third of the country, I would say not at least, at most, I would say, 35%, the country that's still on that tip, and so there's people that's mad at this, but through this election, you're going to see this trend, as people is going to be looking through the lens of, are they taking money from AIPAC? Are they, Zionist puppets? You're going to see this trend. Watch.
I see you smiling, Brother Walk.
It's kind of weird. I know I gotta give what's the name, Saeed. I gotta give him props because he did used to work at that 7-Eleven on Pico.
Oh my goodness!
Came a long way.
Get the fuck out of here.
Agnostics.
Get the fuck out of here.
Of course, it doesn't need to be said. I disagree with Student X's analysis.
Shout out to the 7-Eleven on Pico though, but still, go ahead. I'm sorry.
With that demarcation between the Zionists, because it doesn't acknowledge that you have different type of anti-Zionists. You have the American First anti-Zionists, who are not really concerned about Palestinian liberation. Then you have Palestinian liberation anti-Zionists who, even if the state of Israel were dissolved or the United States stopped giving money to Israel, they want to do things to put international pressure to dissolve Israel so that Palestinian people can have their land back. They say Democrats versus Trump, the Dems are like Barney, and Democrats versus progressives, they're like Jurassic Park. So I think this it's a small little victory within the Democratic Party, kind of shifting them a little more to the left. That could have some outcomes in the Congress later on after the midterms, because you will have a new what's that squad, a squad style block, and blocks are very important in voting in the Congress and things like that.
Yeah, but why? That's the thing you didn't address. I don't want other people speak.
Oh, well, he won. His slogan was Medicare for all, and taxing the billionaires. I mean, if that's the type of left politics that I think people want and people need, and that the Democrat Party needs to be pushed in that direction.
That didn't put him over the top. His supporters is just going to.
He did an interview anyway. He did an interview where he said that the dude said, "Look, I don't like you. You're a Muslim. That's why, just whatever." He said, "But the bottom line is, I think that you will, you have my interest at heart." The bottom line, he was talking about the Medicare and stuff like that. So, that is the big thing, and that sort of like goes into the further left politics. Mr. Floyd X, what do you have to say about this?
All right, I sort of agree with Student X. This is a shift, and the shift is the I guess I would call it the anti-Israel. The state of Israel or the country of Israel is losing. They spend like $30 million against the guy in Texas or the other city. They spent like $30 million and they lost. They put $60 million behind that Frankenstein-looking bitch, and she lost. She lost to a Muslim in the D.C. She lost. Not D.C., my bad, Michigan, Detroit. She lost. It's an end. The money is not even a factor. I ain't going to say it's not a factor, but it's becoming less of a factor. If you could spend $60 million on the Frankenstein woman, and she still lost in a primary. That's not even the main Republican versus Democrat. This is the primary. She lost $60 million. Come on. They talk about this year is one of the biggest years and the biggest money being spent on congressional and all these elections. The biggest year is right now because some people are seeing how critical the time we're living in right now is, the need for change. You know what I'm saying? So this is a big ass shift.
Damn, Floyd X, you emotional as hell.
Passion. Matter of fact, you did that passionate, brother. Here you go.
Salute to the boss.
You got something to say about this, El Pooh? Go ahead.
I think y'all missing the point. The Republicans lost, so it was rigged. The election was rigged. That's all it is. I'm just following Trump on that.
Well, it's the primary, so they're not really a factor in it. But yes, we'll see how it's going to play out.
Hey, can I real quick say something? In regards to like when Afro, I was asking him why. I was saying, okay, well, why? From the statements he was making, this was a happening, and then like Floyd was saying, it really you could go to the war, and the impact it's having ultimately on the economy, on the world, this, and then who are people holding responsible for that? Trump to a degree, but I think it should be all on Trump, but more people are shifting to Israel because people know that Israel has this just exorbitant influence over the United States government for some reason, and they have a problem with that. And so that is driving, a lot of, extra votes, if you will, to that more progressive wing, inside of the Democrat Party. And now it's unlikely that people go, in large numbers to the more extreme left, but, even like, I'll be honest, this whole situation, how we're looking at, and then what's being threatened right now, there are, situations that matter to me less in a candidate, than, others, straight up. because of this right here, I knew we would be, we were pushed to the brink, but not, we about to go over the top. We'll talk about it later more in the Iran situation, but we about to go over the top.
So this is about the Democratic primary. So this is the Democratic votes. Are you seeing that same thing? That's a question for you, Mr. Student X. Are you seeing that same thing on the Republican side?
Yeah, you seeing the same thing on the Republican side.
I'm talking election. I'm talking about elections. I'm not talking about like how the vibe that you're getting of the people. I'm just talking about the people that are winning the Republican primaries. Are they?
You're seeing Republicans shifting their positions, to a degree. Now there's the people who are hardline and they bought and paid for, so they just have a disgruntled constituency, but we'll ultimately see how everything shakes out. But I guarantee you, like right now, there is a civil war inside of the MAGA base, and guess what the Central War is all about? The central issue, Israel.
Yep.
And that's why
the Jews. They talking about those Israeli Jews, if you will, to keep it real.
Put those together
you can't put that a whole race of people. Right now they're talking about Israeli Jewish leaders. Is who we talking about in particular. But then, like I said, the country. When you look at what they as a whole support, they in the 80th percentile on a lot of ill shit. So I'm not gonna go there and tour, and visit anytime soon. I can tell you that much.
Brother Afro Ignatius, you were about to say something.
Yeah, I was just saying it's an issue. It's a dividing factor within MAGA. And I think because that it's a dividing factor with Student X. I'm not MAGA, so it's not the demarcating issue for me. But we know that Iran uses Hezbollah in Lebanon. Iran uses the Houthis in Yemen to, so why can't we?
I would say support, not uses.
I'm saying they use them as a proxy force to advance their interests in the region.
No, that's not at all what's happening.
Hold on a second. Wait, I'll let him speak, and then.
They don't get along with Saudi Arabia. They don't get along with Dubai. They don't get along with some of the other countries. And they don't directly fight them necessarily, except in recent times, but they historically have used other proxies. So I don't understand why we can't see that the United States uses Israel as a proxy to control the Middle East. So it's not about, they were in the Middle East interfering before Israel even existed.
I'm gonna leave it at that, and so we can advance the show to the next.
There we go. Amen. Let's do that. So, this Iran and Oman straightening out. Mr. Floyd X, what you got to say?
Man, this is a very interesting story to me because the U.S. is sitting on the outside trying to figure out and trying to decide. Only influence they have is somewhat over Oman because they're not really a war-ready country or whatever. So that's the only influence they have. And Donald Trump lying ass. Yeah, I'm in there. We're there. He has nothing to do with it. Iran intentionally left his ass out because this is a regional situation. We gonna decide what happens with the Strait of Hormuz, and all these dumbass Republicans on Fox pretending like we winning. All we gotta do is go in there and bomb some more, and all the stupid talk. And Iran just going about their business, taking care of the business. Y'all lost. Trump. I really wish Lindsey Graham was still alive, so he could witness this ass whooping and this loss that Trump is getting, and he would have got it too. But unfortunately, he had to die before he got this ass whooping from Iran. That's all I got to say about
it. Let's do the next.
So I'm just give you guys like takeaways. The Iran conflict primarily is about a war of endurance, inventories, and the industrial capacity, which does not favor the United States of America. Iran has exposed the limits of America's post-Cold War assumptions that superior precision weapons and missile defenses can rapidly overwhelm almost any regional opponent, right? The bottom line here is that right now, the thing that's most alarming for me is that the declining conventional options are making way for more tactical nuclear weapons to be a little bit more attractive to these policymakers right now. And like I said, so things is actually just continues to get worse because there's nothing that America could do to take that straight from Iran. There's nothing.
Anybody speaking on using nuclear weapons right now?
I mean, it has been spoke about, you know, in the past, and so right now, like I said, right now is nothing in the public. But what we do know that's in the public is the reduced missile capacity and precision weapons that America has, because they've been giving them away to everybody else, including the Ukraine conflict, and then they already fired off so much that the inventories is, you know, damn near depleted. And then the whole thing is that, you know, they can't, it's not like they can just make more because they don't even have the manufacturing capacity to do so. But on top of that, it costs so much money because of the defense contractors or the middleman, you know, and they get traded on the stock market and everything else. And then to make matters worse is the critical materials that they need can't come here on the ship right now because the Hormuz is blocked. And then on top of that, it's coming from China. You know, and China said, hell no, we're not giving you none of it. You know what I'm saying? You know, so there's a serious situation here to where the only thing, you know, if you're a devil, the only option you got at this stage is damn near nuclear.
Ouch. So I'm just trying to move this along, but Agnostic, you got something you said you want to add to this one?
I just want to say I'm glad that the Iranian army, they're required to have mandated vaccinations. So I'm glad they're strong and they're ready to go. But no, I like the challenge. This kind of bleeds into the next discussion, you know, challenging U.S. hegemony, U.S. empire, global power. So that's great. That's always a good thing.
That's what's up. So, Mr. Floyd X, you're the one that really brought this up. You wanted to speak on this. Go ahead and tell us what you got to say.
It's the downfall of America. I mean, I don't say that with glee, but when you are a hegemony or evil empire that commits crimes all across the world, it is somewhat satisfying to see a government subtly get their ass whipped and have to realize that they can't move like they used to move. When Iran is pushing out the U.S. military, why do America got over 100 or 200 bases around the world? To exercise dominance. So for Iran to pushing them out, get the fuck out of here, and they ended up in Jordan, get the fuck out of Jordan, they ended up in Israel. They don't know where to go right now. It's like America is losing this war in Iran. And I don't say that with excitement like, yay. I just like to see Donald Trump and all these presidents, Obama, Biden, go down the list. They all committed evil crimes against the world. And now it's coming to an end. It's exciting to see this decline, the end of a global empire, just like the Europe or Britain or whatever you want to call it, when they on the decline, and they had to accept that there was no longer the world power. They had to tuck their tails and hide under the wings of America and use America for their military exercise now. So that's a decline.
Well, before I pass it to El Pooh, I will say they did offer up an olive leaf to the United States of America. What they say?
We open the straight Trump and then he lost the 2020 election.
Anyway, infamous El Pooh, you got something to say about this? The end of an empire?
Yeah, this is what you get when you manage to elect a person, a businessman, that managed to oversee the bankruptcy of at least 6 companies, including 2 casinos alone.
Sheesh. Someone give that brother a horn.
Criminal.
Don't know.
I like how we smooth bled from the Iranian thing to this. It fit like hand in glove.
But go ahead. You speak on. You got something to say about this, or you know?
Oh, the ending of the empire?
Yeah.
I mean, well, you know, every empire in history, in human history, they've added all of them together. The average time span is 250. So the United States is symbolically, you know, at that mark. But, you know, there's a different, you know, you have Black Left end of empire takes about how and why. And then you have American First takes. I agree with Floyd. I'm glad it's celebratory because these other oppressed people can't end their oppression and have power while the United States is a powerful empire. On the American First side, you know, they're sad. You know, it's a loss of empire. It's something that they want to continue. And then you have the God First folks who think it's, you know, they're celebratory because they think God will bring it about or it's due to some moral decline and stuff like that. You kind of, you know, Elijah Muhammad's book, The Fall of America, he had his foot in the God version of it, and then his foot in the black kind of left oppressed people version of it. But that's pretty much what it is. Yeah.
So I'm gonna go to Student X, and then I'm gonna let Brother Walk defend the empire. But go ahead, Student X, what you got to say?
I mean, the only thing we're saying is, is not a monopoly anymore. Is polarity, is polarity now that's going to exist, and so it doesn't mean America won't have influence. I'm not. My whole thing that I've been concerned with is I wish America had more influence if we were an agent for good and not, representing, the empire from the Star Wars,
No horn on that.
That's the horn right there.
No, you're saying that you're an empire for good is like saying you're a slave master for good. No, you can't have unilateral control and make the world a better place. The fact that you have unilateral control ensures that the world is not going to be a better place.
Depends how you acquired that control.
Yeah.
If you acquired that control through brute force and strength and killing and manipulation, then it's all bad. But if you did it because you were, a beacon of light and you lifted people up,
we are
that's different.
We are a beacon of light.
Brother Walk.
We are a beacon of light. America is a beacon of light. And that's why I put on my header. Yo, if you don't like it, you go to booking.com, Expedia, get you a ticket, and don't come back, bro. What plan? Y'all act like y'all don't want to be here. Get the fuck out. Dude,
Where's your flag?
Y'all can go.
You left your flag in the house? You didn't bring the flag with you?
No, I didn't bring the flag. I'm going to get one now.
All right, so let's
ain't nothing wrong with having a flag. What's wrong with having a flag?
My point is, I think there's something wrong with it, but I wasn't condemning
the
him.
flag represents imperialism. That's against imperialism.
Down with Iran, goddamn.
This is the flag of the country that we live in, and I don't know what other flag you would fly. You know what I mean? And like I said, if there's this decline and this fall happening, I don't think you're gonna want to get caught when you have the flag, you know what I'm saying? With all the weapons here in this country, just straight up, So
I've got a question real quick for you, student. Do you pledge allegiance to the U.S. American flag?
I don't pledge allegiance to anybody, but God Almighty, you know what I'm saying? So that's my stance.
Horn. I feel like nothing won't like that horn either. And probably you wouldn't either. So I have to make.
I pledge allegiance to people that have my back and look out for me, and I reciprocate that. I pledge allegiance to them. You know what I'm saying? So this criteria, it's just, I don't just do it.
Hey man, flag. That flag is basically flying your ops colors. But let's pledge our allegiance to washing your ass. Now this is a not well received topic on the show, but the reason we brought it up because I was shocked that this was even an issue. I saw a segment on the Breakfast Club where they were sitting there talking about. First, they had what was the Benet, Eric Benet sitting there talking about. Yeah, so he was sitting there talking about dudes feeling that washing your ass is gay is crazy, and then they had the light skinned dude. I forgot what's that dude's name on the Breakfast Club?
DJ Envy.
DJ Envy. So he's sitting there talking about, I was taking a shower with my wife and she washed up in there. I'm like, whoa. But then he said, I realized that I'm supposed to. He thought it was kind of like a gay type thing. And I thought like, boy, this is like super homophobic and kind of in a gay sus way. But I mean, look, you got to clean your ass.
Bro, this is what that is.
Go ahead, Student X. Speak on it.
But I can't believe that this is, look, now, and when I was, and Brother Floyd might be able to attest, when I was, a leader inside of one of the leaders inside the nation, in the student captain role, one of the classes I did one day was we were dealing with hygiene. And I wanted to make sure the men knew about hygiene. And one of the things that I highlighted and wanted to make sure is that wiping your behind with just toilet paper just simply is not enough, oftentimes. So I started introducing the concept of, flushable wipes. At the end of the day, all for the purpose of making sure your ass is clean. Because and the reason why I came up as a topic, to the degree was it was some sisters that was complaining about streaks when they was washing drawers and whatnot and everything. So I was like, okay, well, I understand the problem. It's not that they're not just wiping their ass. It's just that they don't. We got there's new tools that exist. Strategies that exist. So I can tell you right now, the FOI and SAT. You know what I'm saying?
This is really a non-topic, but I remember being a kid. How you taking a bath? Then sometimes you playing and you see a kid scratching your ass. That means you didn't wash your ass. Then your mom be like, you didn't wash your ass. You didn't wash your ass correctly. You gotta take that rag and wipe your ass. Now I had more of this whole topic is crazy. But I had more offense to what Charlemagne the God said. He said he got 3. Wait, put that camera back on me. He got 3 towels. One for his body, one for his face, and one for his pussy. That's weird.
His pussy.
That's weird, Charlemagne.
Hey, look, washing your ass is very important, and myself personally, I don't like to talk about business, but I schedule my number 2s prior to a shower so I can get a thorough cleaning. I never try to use it and then walk through the day with that, because you need a thorough cleaning. And I guess wipes works for some people. Some people use a bidet, the thing that shoots water at your booty or whatever. So there's different options. There's no reason to be walking around with a dirty behind. You should take care. I don't know about what the Breakfast Club was talking about going inside. That's off limits to me. I'm not exit only, So I don't know what they talking about in the sense of that. How clean is clean? How clean is clean?
Well, that to me. That's why I said, are we talking about the valley? Or are we talking about lifting up the manhole? Because to me, the valley, the valley, you want to clean the valley.
It's the aperture. So the aperture is always the very beginning of the opening. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about, the aperture.
I'm out, guys. I'm out.
There's levels to it. There's levels to it, but before you got levels, you got some knowledge.
He's scared to talk about this. He's scared to talk about it. That's why.
Let me ask the question. What did Eric Benet say about this?
He said you got to get all up in there. He said you got to be clean. He said if you have a problem with this, then you probably are closeted gay. And he said you should wipe your ass just to make your woman happy or your future man. You know what I'm saying? So the bottom line,
he was dropping game. He's definitely keeping it real.
I agree with what he's saying.
I'm making sure because I thought he was saying that he don't wipe his ass. I was going to say that's the reason why Holly Berry left his dumb ass.
TMI. I agree. This is all TMI, but it's important. We grown folks. We're gonna talk about this, brother. Apple agnostics. What you got to say about this?
I think one reason people are forgetting, I think Student X brought it up. Women often, if you listen to women, listen to some channels or women and they talk about this oftentimes because they're washing those drawers and they be seeing things. They be seeing Hershey Kisses and shit. They have to deal with those bed sheets and things. I've heard this, and it's more than just this hygiene thing. This is hygiene, but if you read the article, it was all about Black men's health, and a lot of their health involves anal penetration for prostate checks and colonoscopy, and a lot of men decline that because they associate it with being gay. There's like this. You remember Lombardi, the award? He was a coach for the Steelers. He died because
Green Bay Packers.
The Green Bay. Yeah.
Don't ever disrespect the Packers like
that. He almost ended the show on you.
Because he refused to get a prostate check. He decided, and it was too late because it's been stigmatized, and that's a part of the homophobic culture that this whole issue is trying to address. Just think about even the pause game. It's really psychotic paranoia. It's kind of like when we see Jesus freaks and they see Jesus and everything. They see Jesus in their marriage, in their parking space, and a piece of toast. Like these dudes see gayness in everything. Eating a banana, that's gay.
Like, not
Why are they not if they're heterosexual men? Why are they not obsessed with
Look,
pussy?
I can tell you that right now. You know what I mean? And not from, but like I said, I've been in the position of leadership where, I've dealt with other, young men and men. And then when that situation pops up like that, oftentimes these men have been abused by women and men. And you see what I'm saying? And so then they get like association once there's discovery, because a lot of times abuse is so deep that they didn't even know they was being abused. You know what I'm saying? It's like there's people that found out about it when they were running the little commercials back in the Saturday morning cartoons back in the day where they were talking about this is happening. You know what I'm saying? This is bad. Go tell somebody. You know what I mean? People were discovering, at that moment that something was happening to them. So yeah, so there's different levels is what I'm trying to say. But if people are just not want to wipe their ass because they consider it gay, I think that's
it's not just wiping the ass. I don't know. It's also medical treatment like prostate examinations.
Yeah,
like
all that. I mean,
colonoscopy. Like when I was hearing like people like it's only exit and it's not entered, that tells me that you've never cleaned yourself out, that you never went for a colonic exam or a prostate exam.
Or had an enema or something, there's a lot of things, what I'm saying? Yeah. But are you using bidet? The bidet is where it's at, you know what I mean? You got your ass and wiping your ass at the same time, you know what I'm saying? So straight up.
Yeah, I want to say those wipes are second tier. I have two bathrooms, both have a bidet. At the top of the pyramid is the bidet.
Yeah, for sure.
Exactly.
So that's what this is all about.
So wipe it when you get up in the morning. Your booty sweats. Wipe it. That's And again, the skid marks is probably more of a. I'm gonna guess more of a tighty whitey thing than a boxer type situation. But if you get a
also what you eat, how you digest your food and stuff.
Let me say one more thing. The best argument I heard for a bidet was somebody say, if you walk in the street, you step in shit, you never see nobody just wipe it off, be tissue and be content. They use water.
Use water, but also I would say this: no one washes their hands by just pouring water on it. You basically need rubbing and stuff like that. So that's why I always use wet toilet paper. I'm always nearby the sink, so that's how I would do it. But if you have the wipes next to the next, that's a good thing as well. At the end of the day, I'm gonna do the valley. I'm not about to live
right.
That's an example right there.
So what time is spin that back?
I'm a man, boy.
10:30. So about 15 minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, all right.
Yeah, 13 minutes, correct. So yeah,
I can't wait for this.
I am a boy. But anyways, still, that haven't been said. Hey, please go Google Family Guy Peter colonoscopy. So that haven't been said. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that stuff. Support. Thank you. We appreciate you. Spin that back. We are going to do that in about 12 minutes. A lot of us are going to participate. So come check it out.
Yeah.
Peace out.
Peace out.